All right. I think we're gonna get started. What are we gonna do tonight? We're basically gonna stream until the edibles kick in. All right. What are we gonna do tonight? I don't know. I've been pushing so hard at work that I don't know if I can push very hard on stream. But I've got this project that now has been like it's starting to get a little bit old, without really making too much progress, which is having an MCP that gives me a JavaScript VM where I can load things. And the biggest part of it is like, how do we persist things and reload them over time? I had a little Vibe Manus thing going a while ago, which was implementing edit tools. So I just like pointed at the client repo and said like, please port those over. Maybe we can use those as part of the project to do today. The other idea was starting to register libraries along with their documentation as part of something that we can then import, export into our JavaScript VM. So maybe that's like a little bit more interesting and a little bit less brainy than implementing edit tools. Because once we have edit tools, I have to maybe figure out, I don't know, man. I don't even remember where we're at. The other thing we could do, and maybe this is more for the like end of the day kind of stuff, is working a little bit on my workspace manager. But that's really not what I announced I would do, right? Which probably no one cares. So this is interesting. Why does this fail? I did a huge refactor. So I did a huge refactor for stuff at work. I also did a huge refactor of my workspace manager. And the huge refactor of my workspace manager, I really wonder how much I broke. Like I've been really fighting with LLMs and refactoring this week where I really did accumulate a lot of vibe coded slop, or like in the case of the workspace manager, just like a lot of, I didn't even look at the code while I was building it. So I was doing a fair amount of cleanup and struggling quite a bit, I must say. Like I don't think Sonnet is all that pleasant to do refactors because it just tries to keep so much backwards compatibility and stuff. But as you can see, I change pretty much every file and then have like a ton of little things in there. And I think it still broke stuff. Like I'm not sure this is a very clear message here. Failed to remove work tree, failed to delete work tree, exit status 128. That is kind of like a weird error. What happens if we do a log level debug? Failed to get ahead behind status, failed to get status, failed to get current branch. So this could be just because this got deleted. It was like a test repo that I gave it to experiment with. Right? Like no such file directory. I guess this is because like the metadata is wrong. So I wonder if we do delete force, if something happens here. Fail to remove delete tree, blah, blah, blah. Fail to remove work tree. So this is an interesting thing to, should I fix it right now? Should I not fix it right now? Maybe I shouldn't fix it right now. Maybe I should just like carry on and leave this for another day. But I like my little workspace manager. It's a very pleasant thing to work with these days. And this one's like now after the refactor, for some reason, it like got fucking fast. So Always good. It changed quite a bit of stuff as well. Like I wonder how much I broke and how much I want to not break. So what we'll see. What does it say about this guy? Yeah, 1 ahead, 0 behind. And we're gonna delete this because that's what I just merged. Fail to remove one's workspace tree. Like this is not going too well tonight, is it? Removing work tree, workspace manager. All right, maybe I broke everything, which is great. Let me try to force it. It says ahead 1. I think that's why it's not letting me do that. Because I have like an additional cleanup, which is literally icy. So we're gonna rebase on origin main. I'm just gonna open a new pull request. Git rebase origin main. And we're gonna create a pull request. Some more tiny refactor. 4,000 tokens. Let's go. Yeah, what we're going to work on is, as part of this JavaScript playground, I added a bunch of stuff to easily add new libraries or like new modules. And of course, I do need, as part of, if we consider modules to be like MCPs that you integrate, we do need to expose the documentation in a standardized way, right? So I think that's what we're going to work on today, and then I'll try to fix my workspace manager another day. Oh, and it's not formatted. Oh, no, no, no. Because I try to not format stuff while it's in AMP code, because that kind of just messes up agents. Does this lint correctly? All right, yeah. So we're going to do create pull request from YAML. Remove it. I destroyed a lot of little things lately. Like my shell is much faster, but it's also a little bit broken. So I started learning like ZSH programming for real. All the carapace completion that I added to Workspace Manager is behaving really weirdly. So I do need to understand how that stuff works as well. Like sometimes it'll complete with a file name, sometimes it won't. It's all like all very, very weird. Because I'll do delete and then it will say workspace name, but it won't complete them anymore, which used to work. So just like the hitting the limits of vibe coding this week pretty hard. And one reason for that might also be that I'm trying really hard to not do things by hand, which is really frustrating at times. But also I just want to push things, and maybe I pushed them a little bit too much this week, where I was like constantly trying to refactor really big stuff. Like at work, I think I must have moved around like 80,000 lines of code over the last 3-4 weeks. And then the funny thing is that the LLMs, right, like kept piling on slop on top of stuff. And I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll clean it up pretty easily with the cleanup slop machine or a slop cleanup machine. Turns out that it was kind of all right, but you really need to keep it on a tight leash. It would like often just like add adapters for backwards compatibility and just like add more weird stuff to it. Turns out though, when I went in by hand with like a clear plan by myself of what to do, I actually broke even more. Like I just like basically cut a lot of stuff that actually broke functionality, while agents were still kind of trying, mostly like able to shimmy by in like testing loops. Obviously, I can't test stuff as fast as the LLM, so the cuts that I made over my 2 hours of work or so were pretty drastic. However, refactoring in an IDE like JetBrains with good refactoring tools that like in seconds you get stuff done that, you know, waiting for an agent for 20 minutes is always like a little bit painful. I'm actually annoyed that I can't delete my 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 branch. I wonder if this will do it. No, fail to remove work tree, and it doesn't even give me any kind of information about it. Exit status 128. All right, well, I'm not going to get sidetracked by that. Let's see. Hopefully the um, creating a new workspace is going to be nice. There's so many projects that I need to clean up. That's crazy. Like those are all my unfinished projects. A lot of them for work. So move Jesus-based libraries to Goja. That seems interesting, and that's something we should look at what I did there. So we're gonna just ask for the status. Uncommitted changes in Goja. We do have stage changes in Jesus. So yeah, this is all like kind of broken, all of this. It's very different from what it looked like before. So it's going to be interesting as well. So we moved the DB functionality to Goja, and then we do have, what do we do have here? Module registry, enable Goja registry. So I added a registry to my engine. The engine is in Jesus still. All right. Oh, and I know something cool that we have. So this is going to be add module registry to the Jesus engine. And see, a weird thing with the ZSH is that the auto completion only kicks in after the first enter, which is like my lazy loading. I have to learn how the whole lazy loading works. If we go into Goja, which is where I kind of want to put all my libraries, and I'm not sure if that is the best idea in the world. All right, that's already 9 days ago. That's crazy. So we're going to remove this test file, remove REPL test. And I think I'm just going to do branch needs to be pushed. Commits, the blue is like fucking hard to read with this theme. I did, however, build a little kitty theme manager, which is nice. So maybe let's put in some more pleasant kind of style. I don't know how that is on stream, by the way. Also, it changes colors based on style. That's pretty cool too. Create PR. I'm actually going to create the PR by hand. So create pull request. Oh, so maybe we need to do Goja first, and then in Jesus we do need to import that, so we'll add it as part of the libraries to be bumped. So we do have Goja, and then if we grep for golems and go mod. Oh shit, there's so many of them. All right. So all right, so what do we have? Man, tap and make files, fucking annoying. All right, so we do have Geppetto. Glaze we already have. Go MCP, Pinocchio, Boba Tea, Go Enrichen. We have like a shit ton of stuff in Jesus. So let's do some cleanup, and you know, after today, maybe I'll try to be a little bit more of an engineer and not just like a full-on YOLO vibe. But we'll see. So bump dependencies. Actually, I shouldn't bump the dependencies just yet. We're going to do the same stuff here, where we're going to grep for dependencies. And there's nothing in here. All right, so that's cool. So we're going to create a pull request, add a DB module from Jesus. And what I had man as vibe code is a tree sitter integration. And the tree sitter integration into JavaScript allows me to export the doc strings of functions in modules. And I thought, oh, that's pretty interesting. Like maybe we can tie that to registering documentation. And modules can also maybe register the documentation as is, right? So maybe we'll have to revisit what a module is and how it's working, right? Like we have this module registry, and there's a doc method already, I see. Implement get module and get documentation for introspection. So that is stuff that we could potentially examine. I don't know if I don't know where I left this, and how much I integrate into Jesus. We'll look into that in the code review, in the pull request. Just like get a little bit of a sense for these things. So it looks like we still have to look at DB close and then export set. So we're just going to do that basically. I'm actually going to do this in go. No, actually in amp code here, and then say in Goja. And what is happening in Jesus? Is this linting correctly? All right, so that one's linting correctly. What we do have to do, however, is wait for Goja to compile, merge the pull request, tag patch a new release, use that new release in Jesus, then we can push it, then it will pass CI/CD builds, because otherwise it will use the Go workspace that I have here, which makes it compile locally, but won't be able to compile it on the remote. So that is kind of where we're at. All right, make lint. All right. Ambulance, fix linting. And was it going to do create pull request from YAML? All right, so we do have a pull request, which we're going to look at. All right, so main.go in the command was deleted. That's cool. We did add in the common modules, we added to a native module, we added doc method. And the doc method getting a module returns the module as a native module. So this is the module registry. The module registry allows us to register all kinds of modules. They don't need to be like a standardized way because this is taking an interface, right? Yeah, okay. So we then have the database module, which is a DB module, which has like an open driver. And then you instantiate this thing by, it's basically linked to a single database, right? Like you can't open arbitrary databases. That's interesting too. I'm not sure if that's exactly what we want or not. The doc here, you know, it would be good to have in the doc what I found. If you have agents, especially, you want to give them like a table of contents, and then maybe you want to give them like the reference, but also then the opportunity to load different kind of tutorials and things like that. So I have a help system functionality for that, and maybe we could just like wire these two together, export the help system to its own package, and then use that as kind of like a prompt engine for the whole system. This is like me going into framework mode again, but this help system is something that I wanted to clean up for a long time. Dependency review is not supported for this repo because I haven't enabled it. We'll do that another day. So we're going to just merge, and as we go here, we're going to, I can't go to main, right? Because this is not my main checkout. So what we're going to do is I think we can rebase it. I've never tried this, but because we have this like dilemma right now. I have a checked out workspace. This checked out workspace has two repos. One of the repo depends on the other one being released publicly. I release publicly from the main branch, at least from the hash of the main branch. So if I look at that, I am actually now on the same branch as the origin. So if I do tag patch release, because releases are done through tags, this is going to be my first release of this library, and it's pushing it to the wrong location, right? So we do need to rename this Goja, and then we don't have any binary, so I'm going to delete this. And then if we look at Go releaser, I don't think we need any of the release. So I think we might need to disable the workflow for release, right? Oh, so we have two even. Run only, it's like disable both GitHub release workflows in Goja, because I don't remember how to do that. I'm freaking lazy. So I'll push that, then we'll tag it, then we'll push it again, and then we'll have like a package release. So the Go releaser thing is like to build binaries and sign them and put them into Fury as packages and all that kind of stuff. Push them to Homebrew, do all this like releasey shit. To be honest, what's fun is that like no one uses my open source except me. Starting to use it across people at work, but I put so much effort into like making it nice. So maybe working on the help system today, which is like actually a core feature of prompting, right? Like that could be quite interesting. Of how do we avoid, basically giving it all the prompting library for the standard library, but instead making it like, because it is going to be used in kind of like a coding agent kind of way, basically let it discover those things. That will actually be kind of an interesting thing to do, and I think moving the help system out of Glazed is going to be interesting as well. So fix up releasing as a library. We're going to push that origin head main. We're going to just push straight to main, because why not? It's my repo. I do whatever the fuck I want. And I don't know if there's like a better way for the, I use like 3 git commands. I use like rebase, commit, and push. And you can do kind of everything with push. So why is it still doing the Go releaser here? Go releaser this, and then if we look at the left hook YAML, I think the pre-push shouldn't do a release. Okay, so we're also going to commit. So our don't build for release before pushing. I don't know if it was a good idea to split the JavaScript libraries out to their own module. I was like, oh, maybe someone else wants to build that, to use that without like my gigantic Jesus. But then no one ever uses my library, so because they're just too weird. All right. Now. All right, and then next try. All right, it's pushing it to Go. Server response not found. Unknown revision v002. What the fuck does that mean? I have this from time to time, and then I always forget what it means. Is it because I just need to wait, or is it because there's some weird stuff going on? Server response not found. Unknown revision dot. I always forget what this means. What does this mean? My Git is... Maybe I should try to do this in the agent as well. You know, let's just see what AMP does about this. In Goja, what does this mean? Yeah, I did push the tags, didn't I? Did it push it? Oh, it didn't push it. Like, that's weird. Didn't it do git push tags? Doesn't it push tags from within a from within a work tree, maybe? Yeah, but it still has that, right? Go proxy cache. All right, so it does find it. So how does the proxy work? All right. How does the Go proxy work? Because that's something I never really understood. That's cool. That's cool to use the Go proxy direct. I'll note that. That's a pretty cool thing here. So we're gonna go into release, right? Next, make release. Go proxy direct. Proxy for releases. And we're gonna push this to main as well. See, I've got this other one thing is that history gets loaded correctly, but the first completion then doesn't kick into the shell, and that's like independently of how far this actually happens in within the, like how far along in my shell it happens, which is also like I don't get it. That's why I'm going to learn ZSH. Tries to fetch model like this, check the local cache, ask the proxy for metadata and source.info.found.zip, and then you can do the default, try the proxy first. If it fails, try to clone from Git directly, but not all 404. So I don't know if the Git is actually, the direct is actually all that useful. I wonder if I do the bump here in Jesus, will it get like the new version? It didn't get the new version, right? So package go dev. I don't think this worked the way it should work. I'm not sure that direct is the best thing in here to do. Latest version v0000. So I'm gonna try once more. And I think the fact that it disabled direct was actually a feature to make sure that it was received on the other end. So maybe we should put like a little sleep in between this, right? Sleep 20. Sleeping while tags get pushed. So I'm not sure if that's all that useful. We'll see. Try to mess around with release. And we're going to push it. And maybe we'll do git tag patch release again. We're going to sleep 20 seconds, right? We push the V003. So let's see what happens, right? Maybe it is one of the release workflows after all. No, so this is Go Releaser. And this is also Go Releaser. All right. Server response not found. This is so weird. Why wouldn't it find that? Huh. I don't know if there's any Go people in the chat or whatever, but it still doesn't seem to work. But direct works, but not the Golang org proxy. I do want to publicly release my package though. It would be sad if that was like a blocker to do our work tonight. So let's see. It doesn't have the tag, right? Why didn't it do that before? Git push. Oh, because it's in a work tree, so it does need to have the origin here, right? All right. So we can remove the sleep, and it was because of the origin in the work tree, because it like the origin is probably something else here. I don't know. All right, the sleep 20 is annoying. It still doesn't have it. Git ls remote now has the tag, right? So let's try once more, because maybe now the proxy thinks it doesn't have shit. Poop hack on makefile to hopefully get this released out of a work tree. So maybe really the work tree is the problem, right? So the origin is GitHub. And I don't know why git push tags would like not go to the remote. All right, anyway, make tag patch release. I'm going to try with 004. Right, because this is to GitHub, golems, goja. And now it seems to work. Obscure. All right, well, anyway, let's push this to main as well. All right, so let's go back. Now we can bump our goja to 004. Cool. And then we're going to say, we're actually going to do the same thing here, which is in release. Just going to, what the fuck? Just going to put git origin tags. Update dependencies and clean up some release tagging. All right, so now I can do my pull request, which is move database module to goja and use the module registry. Cool, starting great. I have to figure out what this is. This happens after I do a query that's too big, but it's such a weird error. Like, why would it do it on the next request? Also something maybe someone might know. In any case, I'm gonna edit this pull request a little bit. Database module migration, create new database module, support multiple database drivers through configure, removed, yeah, whatever. Replace package level slice with structured registry stuff. Provide module discovery, that's cool. The backwards compatibility, I don't know. All right, cool. GH repo set default. My man, my default is go golem. So now we're gonna try again. Get pull request from YAML. Yes, I do want to create the pull request. I'm gonna push to my fork. See the thing in my workspace manager to go back to what we had before. So if you look, I had like a big where I had a V2 version of each. And so I wonder if I should go back and see how this was 158 lines and then 91 got added. Like, I wonder when it did this move where it deleted the previous one and went back, right? Like, maybe I should do it. Look, does V2 even like match the functionality of V1? Like, because I didn't look at any of these guys. So that might be an interesting commit to go back to if indeed things degraded, right? Like, I could maybe say, go back to there, to this commit and figure out why delete was different and basically have the agent do that. That would be quite interesting. So we'll see. However, we do have a first pull request into Jesus. And maybe today we'll do, like refactoring stuff because I'm having so much fun refactoring and breaking things lately. Do some more vibe refactoring where we'll break my main library maybe. And gathering all this experience, like refactoring things with Claude or like with AMP code, I think is it pushes me. I haven't been pushed that much with coding in a while. It also shows me that, well, I don't know why I decided to not do the more planned structure when I was doing this refactoring. I just like went in YOLO and select, please agent refactor. Part because I've been like so surprised by how good agents have been. But I think there was also like a sunk cost fallacy that I like pointing out in other people, where I was like, yeah, I cared too much about the source code that I didn't even write. So this is interesting. So what does this mean? Meta linter. Load package could not load export data. What the freaking weird thing is that? I've never seen that kind of error before either. Golang pipeline. Missing go sum. So did I just forget to make tidy? Like, do I need to do a go mod tidy? Oh shit. Okay. Fix up go mod go sum. This is when I do a make release. Like when I do a go mod tidy, it doesn't. And then once I start doing a release on push, that has happened in the past. All this go mod stuff, like just I don't know if I really want to learn about it, but also I keep banging my head against it. So maybe one day I should do a guided reading of GoMod and the Go package manager. That could be an interesting thing, right? Um, I wonder if there's like other resources about how GoMod and Go module package management works. That'd be quite interesting as like a little session. Go help mod tidy, right? Talks and videos, understanding Go module, open link. Or maybe I'll ask Jonathan what good resources are. Is this hallucinated? Looks hallucinated, huh? So obviously those are not. Is this O3? What is going on? Go away. I can't even remove you. I can't even see what the model is because I can't click this away. Oh my god, OpenAI. Holy shit. No, it was 4.0, right? It was just too fast. Yeah, it was 4.0. All right. Where's our pull request? Did it go away? Oh yeah, we were trying to understand what the build errors were, right? It was like the go mod go sum. So now a pull request should build, except for this dependency scanning, dependency scanning, and then all the rest builds. So we can go ahead, we can do this. Perfect. And then I think I won't be able to remove my workspace. So if I do WSM delete, and then the workspace is called move modules to Goja. Are you sure you want to delete? Yes. It deleted it. Okay, well, who knows why the other one doesn't. I was installing stuff on my Proxmox yesterday. Oh, we're gonna close this. All right, well, we finished that. We can go back to our home base and just make sure we are both on main and here. There's changes in here? Don't you say. Go mod go sum. And then we also have a todo.md, which is always good. todo.md, and here is like overhaul documentation now that we have required. I don't think I did that. Added todo.md. And we're going to push it because we're kind of pig-like today. So if we go to my golems glazed repo, you will see there's a whole help system in here that is kind of mid. I wrote this like a really, really long time ago, 3 years ago, you can see. It has like some broken ass queries, which did I ever do a branch about refactoring this, by the way? I feel I might have. Oh, holy shit, there's so much. How can I see? Yeah, I added a web UI, which was ugly as sin. So maybe that's not, I added the web UI twice. So what's interesting is here, maybe that's the one. I know I started adding a search engine to it. So let's go see what this guy has to offer. I don't think this has a search engine in it. I'm still going to commit just so it's fun. Why is there a package JSON in here? Because of Tailwind. All right. Sparkles, lipstick, poop, add beginning of a web UI. Yeah, this is not going to lint, I'm sure. And we're just going to push it to make sure that if my computer gets stolen, I still have everything. All right. So that branch was not all that interesting. I'm pretty sure I have like a much better search engine thing. So however, what we're going to do, we're going to create a new branch, which we're going to call extract help system. And we're going to add glazed, and then as my agent source, which is also something I need to make nicer. And see, this is the weird, it doesn't even complete file names anymore with Carapace, which is really that one is really annoying because I have to type this out by hand. Fail to find repositories. Repositories not found. Glazed. Yeah, I really fucked this guy up, didn't I? Discover. In current directory. All right. Cool. 303 repos. That's wrong. That's also wrong. Yeah, I kind of just broke everything, to be honest. So I should have been like a little bit more diligent about the whole testing and stuff like that. So what we're going to do in the workspace manager, we're just going to revert to the previous version, right? Like this is a big ass merge. I'm not going to revert. I'm just going to go to the previous version. This is v2. Ignore more files, add refactoring plan, add analysis. This was probably the previous merge. We're just gonna check this one out and then install the old version. And then the registry here. We're just gonna remove it. All right. So we're gonna discover 77 repositories. Very good. In the workspace manager, we will go back to main. And being a fucking maintainer is like so freaking annoying. So I added a tmux verb actually. Broke everything in v2. Go over verbs much more carefully now. Which tells me, right, like refactoring, once you want to start cleaning up your code, you do actually have to read it. It really only goes so far, which, you know, is kind of obvious, but I was trying to see how far we could push it. And you can push it pretty far, but it's like you do need to clean up pretty aggressively, I would say. So that even the bigger refactor is good. And then I think when you refactor, you really have to be sure that each step is working correctly instead of like hoping that it will get to the end project over, 5 sessions because it's a lot of code. That just doesn't seem to be there yet. At least I mean, with my current prompting skills, right? It's like I'm sure I will be able to develop some pretty good prompting skills, and that's actually what we're gonna try now. Um, so we're gonna try this WSM create thing again. WSM create. Why doesn't it complete that? No man, this is so weird. WSM create agent source, and then so we're gonna say add glazed help top level documentation. What the heck is that? Add glazed top level documentation. Look, there's another one here where I was fucking with glazed. What was I doing here? Add tutorials? Oh, the top level help is like literally updating the top level stuff. So I kind of generated tutorials and I haven't looked at them yet. So that's for another day. All right, so going back to create all of that, and we're gonna create this as extract help system from glazed, right? I just call it extract help system. And I wonder if the carapace here works better than before. So if I do info, see now this one works better than the one that I broke as well. So fascinating, fascinating stuff. Let's extract the help system. Let's take a look at this help system. In cursor, I guess, might as well. And then we're gonna start asking, I think O3 maybe for a plan on how to refactor it into its own package and also how to clean up things. So we're gonna open the workspace folder. Actually, the workspace folder, oh my God. This would be in 03 and then extract help system. We're gonna open it at one directory above because we're going to create like a new repo, right? But first, we're gonna have O3 analyze these different parts of the help system. And maybe actually another thing we could do is we could output temp help system.zip is we're gonna zip this this directory, the package help, and writing help entries also. So pkg doc and then topics, help entries, and then maybe also the help system description. Help system, right? And it's a PCP archive file is what it's called. Archive file. Oh, what is wrong with me today? Archive file. Now we have a zip file that we can give to O3 in the browser. And we're going to compare what O3 does in the browser versus what it does in cursor. That's going to be an interesting one. So if I go to here and I'm going to say analyze the architecture, then make a list of suggestions for making this better. The query system in particular is very annoying, not very useful. You don't need to care about backwards front compatibility. We just want a better API. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to use the exact same prompt in cursor, and then we can compare, right? Like when we're going to use O3, we're going to do a little bit of model spelunking tonight. And what I'm going to do is analyze the architecture of PKG help of glazed PKG. Why is it not like completing? That still doesn't work like reliably in cursor is wild. And then I add a slash, and now it's broken again. Like sometimes it's broken, then the next release it's not broken, then and other files and pkg help. So we'll see what happens here, right? So here you can see the cool thing about the zip files, you can provide a lot of stuff and then it will like unzip it. Then it will start looking at the file names. Then it will basically start reading these, all of these things, which is quite interesting. And you know, I'm gonna use some Manus credits while I'm at it. I was thinking about something. So the pipe book by Norvig, right? Which has this it has this chapter on there's scanned PDFs, but there's also, so see, in building software tools, there is a big part about building a pattern matcher, which is really quite a cool syntax. It looks like this. And this allows you to basically express queries over trees and stuff. And I think it would be pretty nifty to have that in Go as well. So maybe what I'll do is implement the pattern matcher in Golang. Also make a minimalist Lisp syntax parser so that I can still use the same syntax in addition to a more Go-like syntax to express queries. Run it against a whole number of examples and record the results so that I can verify your work. Because that's going to be a really useful library to have in. I could also have it implement in JavaScript, by the way, since we now have like a JavaScript VM that we can bind. That's really nice to match source trees like tree sitter query results, because the tree sitter query language is like not very great. It's not very expressive for the kind of things that I would like to do. For example, like give me all the functions that contain a variable that's called lion, right? It's like that's hard to do. That is a query you can do in the tree sitter query language, but things like give me all the classes that are referenced in this other class, I think was not something you could very easily do, but you could do in here, at least in some semblance of it. So now it's looking at the full query file, right? And it looked like we've been truncating. So it's like kind of a coding agent. It's not like it's sometimes it's a little bit problematic. So it has trouble reading files, but it's still like kind of useful to do this stuff. We can also look what happens if we just so what was the repo we're in like now? Extract help system. So if I go in glazed and I do PCP, which is Pinocchio catter print, it's not the drug. If I use that, it will just like assemble my entire, it will just print out my entire look for files, right? Actually, how does this? I'm sure there's a version that's called PCPS. No, there was like a flag to get more stats out of it. Print filters, delimiter, glazed, max lines. So yeah, so it's, I guess it's PCS then, right? Which will tell me, so we have 10,000 tokens of Go and we have 12,000. So we can definitely just like paste the entire thing in here as well into the web UI. So let's do that. Let's see what happens if we put in the exact same query as before, right? Analyze the architecture, then make a list of suggestions on how to make this better. What is going on today? So we'll come back to this. This is starting to look at the chapter. That's cool. You don't just download it, man. Like, why are you reading it in the browser? Okay. So current architecture, we have a data model as a section type enum, section struct, holds every item's metadata, single flat slice, recursively reads the markdown files with font matter, simple and robust, but it does no validation or indexing, query layer, hard-boiled Boolean knobs, only shown by default, blah, blah, blah. So this is like not great. And it's definitely, I think, a little bit buggy as well. I didn't really know Go all too well when I started this, I think. So why the query system feels annoying, verbosity and cognitive load, that's exactly right. Calling methods in the wrong order flips booleans you set earlier. You cannot express this kind of stuff. A cleaner API and architecture, no compatibility constraint. Replace section query with predicate-based filtering. Make help system indexed. Sure, we're going to use Blevy as a search engine. So use Blevy as a search engine. And the other thing we could do is just like insert it into an in-memory SQL database, because that's like a little bit easier code to read, maybe. I'm not sure. I also had this like self-contained embeddings functionality. Backwards compat breaking design for swapping the hand-rolled query loop with a Blevy-powered search layer while keeping the predicate API we sketched earlier. So you build the index with the sections, query a compile to a search request. Yeah, this is all pretty good. Like I like O3 is kind of good. So we did the same query this time, giving it the entire source code. But this is not what I pasted. What are you doing here? This is my previous query about the workspace manager. And then if I press new chat, nothing happens. Like something really weird is happening on their side. So the package help Cobra. It's really weird because this was like a code review for something I pasted like way earlier today. I wonder what gets mixed up on their side when stuff like that happens. All right, you go ahead. I kind of do like that. Let's look at what cursor spat out. So cursor is telling us current architecture, data model, query layer, rendering. So this is pretty much exactly the same than ours. Pretty wide section query API, difficult to discover. So this is kind of the same. Interact in surprising ways. That's true as well. Suggestions, guiding principles, separate concerns. Yeah, this is some slop here. Although actually not that bad. Split the package, render, template execution query, replace section query with functional predicates. So that's a different approach, kind of. Very similar though. All right. And then I'm going to say we want to use the Blevy library or in-memory SQL. Like, what's nicer? Or both. Maybe I should start with in-memory SQL, because that allows us to do a lot of joins and also add like more relationships. And then if we still want like some more advanced filters, then we can use something else. Now with SQLite instead of Levy. And we also have the help verb, I think, which I'm not sure if we gave it in terms of what's using the help system here. If we go to the query language, so section query, who uses that? Render. And then is there like new section query? Who uses that? See, there's Cobra. So there is also the functionality to register it to Cobra. All right, so this all really seems self-contained. So what is interesting here is like maybe do it with SQLite. We want to use SQLite for the queries searches. So data schema in SQLite, so that's cool. Create virtual table for full text search, load time indexing pipeline. And this is where maybe pulling in this one vibe thing that I had coded one day is, I think it's in labs. And then if we go into labs and then command experiments, is that where I put it? CD SQLite vector search. So that was an interesting one because you have to build it with a certain flag. And I, of course, didn't write it down. See, this is so weird that it works the first time and then not the second. I had to build SQLite 3 with a specific tag. And there is no main make file. So maybe I can see what was run in this directory, right? Git run tags SQLite vtable. But that's going to be annoying because we would have to. Oh no, if we make this a dependency, then I don't think we really need that, right? Or we need to pass this in for every dependency. I don't know shit about Go, I realize. That's crazy. No such module HNSW. That is so weird. Oh, you do need OLAMA as well. Yeah, this is not ready to be used. Like, however, I want to package a Go module which requires a build tag to be passed to the SQLite 3 dependency, SQLite vtable, to work correctly. Does that mean that any project importing my module will have to use that flag too? Or can I like put that into my Go mod that a certain thing needs to be? So how do I publish it with this tag? Short answer, yes. If your package literally cannot compile without the SQLite vtable tag, then every downstream build must be invoked with Go build tags vtable. That's because build tags are a build time switch shared to the entire build, not metadata saved in Go mod. All right, well, that is Go for you. All right, so we are going to use SQLite still, even though to have vtable support, we do need to use SQLite 3 with that build tag. That's for another day, because so that we can have like embeddings building. It's annoying though. All right, predicate helpers, compile to SQL. What's the like rich functional programming kind of query, right? This is the thing I want. Implement this on top of SQLite. What did this guy do? Suggested sections, table, topics, and flags. Sure, why not? Full text index. Add indexes for exact matches. Walk the docs tree. Yeah, we could have it pushed into a cache, right? Because it will always like take some time to initialize, but I think it shouldn't be too slow. Query layer redesign, query word clauses, args. So func by type. How do we make it happen for? I wonder if this works. This would be funny. Could be. Should I stay in cursor? Or should I let Amcode do it? I'm gonna let Amcode do it. I'm gonna switch to Sonnet. I'm gonna make a full spec, I think. Write a full spec for the query language and the SQLite part so that the new intern joining tomorrow can implement it, give them full paragraphs, bullet point lists, code sketches, and API reference plus file references, all the context they need to get started. Save in Glaze TTEM 2025-07-03-01 guide for the new intern to implement the new SQLite help query system.md. It's kind of a mouthful. I do definitely need to make a little extension for this temporary file management stuff. It's like my way of doing specs. The new intern is like kind of like a abracadabra kind of prompt that helps it just make good documents. So I always try to think when I want to have like a certain type of document, can I find just like a couple of words to make it happen? And the couple of words that really were astonishing the last couple of days, we can try them out. Is use tmux to do things like interacting with terminal UIs instead of using VHS, which is what I was using for the last couple of days of weeks. And then use QEMU is the one that I tried today, where I was able to install Kubernetes on Manus, which was pretty cool as well. by just saying like use qemu install Kubernetes, because I was trying to get Kubernetes running on their VM and it's not possible. Just like Docker's was not possible either. So now that I have qemu magic, it's gonna be cool. All right. This is yappity yappity yap. What did this guy tell us in terms of the implementation? Oh, we already looked at this, right? Like it's very similar in terms of compiler stuff. This is very concise, which is interesting. Compared, it's like the O3 here is always very cryptic. Man, Sonnet, are you just slow? Is that because like the West Coast is working and pillaring you right now? Should start using more local models with like maybe open code or something. There's so many things to try out. It's pretty crazy. While this is running, I'm gonna order some food, so I'm gonna just like switch this camera off for a bit. Oh, it's over. It's finished. But I'm ordering some chicken, so you'll have to wait, but I'll open the document for you. And why did I unfold it? I don't know. But so that you can read while I order my food. Is it rendering? Like, what's going on today? Why is this not rendering a preview? Everything's... Look at that. Oh my god. So do we have markdown preview? Do I need to update like my... Can I like disable, restart the extension, enable? You think that will help it? Huh? All right. Let me order my chicken. Was it on Uber Eats? What's going on? Why is this not in my history? All right, chicken katsu. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. Your mission. So this is for the intern, right? And it's like, oh, I did this like super terse thing where I basically implemented everything already. That's kind of not what I wanted. This is like definitely a danger with O3 followed by Sonnet. So actually, I don't like this just because it's not fun to look at. And what are we going to use? We're going to use like maybe GPT 4.1 just for the fun of it. GPT 4.1. There you go. I've rarely used that one, especially for writing. Oh, the store is closed. Shit. That's why. The Korean chicken barbecue was really good, but also it was really fucking expensive. It was also very expensive. Maybe we'll go with Vietnamese. But I'm not sure I want soup either. Korean barbecue ribs. Grilled chicken. looking for the most autistic food possible. Salty fish fried rice. Grilled chicken with steamed rice. All right. There we go. 56 minutes, which is perfect. Except it won't let me click buy with Apple Pay. What the heck is going on today? Now it can't. Like, I had to scroll up. All these broken UIs everywhere, man. Everybody's vibe coding, and this is what happens. Where is our world? What is our world getting to? All right. Let me put my beautiful face back. And there we go. Not entirely. There we go. And then let me adjust that. Oh, absolutely fantastic. So back to our SQLite schema design. So this updated, and this looks more fun. Goal and readiness, blah, 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 slop, slop. This must support it, that's good. Architecture overview, interaction flow, SQLite schema, query language, example predicates, how predicates, API design. See, this is kind of like the document that I want. I want like a little bit more information, add more information about the compiler implementation. Example, pseudocode, sketch it out, right? But this is the kind of stuff that I like because it's more entertaining for me, and it also like, basically in the previous example, like Sonnet had already coded everything, right? Like it was just a matter of splitting out the file into individual files. This I think is going to be more interesting for the model as well. So the query compiler, then does the select this thing, blah, 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 where, and then it's all the wheres and the joins. So the interesting part is that one here, right? It's so funny. I've built stuff like that like so often. But yeah, this is pretty good. I think we can give this to Amcode and then just like let it rip, right? So we're going to call amp. Actually, we're going to go into glazed. Oh, we are already in glazed. We're going to go work use. Then we're going to call amp out here in the top level because we're going to add an external repo. But the first thing we're going to do is like add this like query compiler, right? And do some refactoring. And we're going to say like implement 01 guide for the new intern to implement this, test at each. All right. Go in steps, test before moving on. And I'm curious to see how much of the planning we'll do. And I mean, this is kind of like my YOLO mode, my YOLO prompting. Seeing how much trouble I had lately, I wonder if I should continue working this way, if I should, so for example, I could do this, I could do this agent vibe, right? Session. And then at the end of the session, be really aggressive about refactoring things and making sure they work. I think that's what I'm going to try today. I could, of course, in between each run, like kind of have a closer look. But it's rather maybe there's like a way of splitting this work into different work sessions. So when I used to do a lot of music, I would have days where I would just jam, and thinking that I would do something else would also break the jamming experience, right? Like it would just like keep something in my head. So there might be, I find it frustrating to mix these modes in a single session, right? Where you're like vibing and then something doesn't work and you have to switch into detailed mode, and then it's hard to get back out and get back into the vibe mode. I think both modes are conducive to building good software, when there's an interplay, right? Like sometimes you build better software by just trying out ideas, getting a feel for things, trying to uncover maybe some ridiculous things, or build one feature really quickly, then build something on top and realizing, oh, that's interesting. And then obviously there's like the more traditional software building where you have to kind of give a shit about what's going on and like make sure the code stays correct, and like the slop that accumulates with models like duplicated things, a lot of like intermediate abstractions that Sonnet likes to add to do some kind of like backwards compatibility. Maybe we'll encounter that actually in this go. Um, and it will create duplicates of functionality because it didn't know it already existed. It will create like very similar data structures that do the same thing but are used in different places. So that all kind of accumulates. And I had a really hard time cleaning things up this week. I had a really hard time. Just like I mean, like people say sometimes the models work better or not, which I kind of don't believe, but maybe. There's definitely times of day where there's differences back in the day when I was testing things where, maybe they route to like more quantized models or something. I don't know. But I don't think that was the issue in my refactoring. I think it was just like the lack of planning, of strategic thinking that I applied. So in terms of strategic, super strategic thinking, it's like, okay, where does this current mode where I'm basically not looking at the code, I'm just like kind of yapping, and maybe I'm looking a little bit at like some files, but mostly like, oh, does this file look interesting? Um, that's one mode, and I think that's one mode I really want to preserve for most of my building, I think. Um, because that's the part where you like are able to reflect a little bit more about, is this a nice interface that I'm building right now? Like, is this how I want to use the product? Is this, um, I don't think it's the super, super strategic where I'm like, is it even like a good idea to build the SQLite layer? Like, I think for that, you definitely need to go away from the computer, either talk or do other similar kind of things. Um, but I think do I like this compiler or do I like the other one more? Those are decisions you stop doing once you start getting into, right? Like if I were to start go fixing these unit tests, I wouldn't be thinking about, is this nice or is this not nice anymore? I'd be like trying to fix it, and then the sunk cost comes in, right? Like once I fix it and it works, even if it's really shitty, like the version right now, which was built before ChatGPT, right? So it was built with Copilot, maybe some GPT-3, DaVinci stuff I was trying, but I don't think I was able to do very much back then. It really is like ChatGPT that unlocked a lot. Um, Here, even if this works, I'll be very tempted to just be like, yeah, but I kind of don't like it now that it works, right? So this kind of vibing, I don't care if the code is shitty because it will still allow me to do very good decision on terms of like, oh, I don't like it. Even if you like, it will crash if you give it like a wrong quote or something. If you give it like a weird character, like that really wouldn't help save me in that moment. So it's like, okay, how far can I delegate this kind of work of like refactoring, making sure there's like the right types to everything, making sure like, do we want ID uppercase or lowercase, which is stuff I've been doing today. At some point I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it by hand. And that was not good either. Like I did struggle a lot by hand as well. um, and even with like, I still know all the shortcuts in my IDE, like none of that has like really rotten away, but it was just hard. It like reminded me like, man, sometimes refactors are hard, which may point to like, oh, these models are actually pretty good. or like the agents that we have to go quite far. But the question is like, okay, how far can I vibe before it actually bites me in the ass? And I'm not able to make these loops of either efficiency in like putting something out into production or into while not losing like days, because now I really have no idea what's going on and everything's a little bit too big. So um, I wonder if it's starting to like gaslight me. Like, what is this? Is this something I wrote back in the day? Could also be. Um, as said, this is really really old. So which is interesting, right? Because it's like this is really pre LLM legacy kind of, um, and as such, probably has a much more idiosyncratic structure than what an LLM would have done, which is why the query API, for example, sucks. But I never wanted to go back. Like I thought it was really clever. I was like hacking for long hours on it, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool, but it's like also it's shitty. But I spent so much time and like kind of works well enough that I can use it day to day. Um, and then since then, in 3 years, I haven't touched it. Here, I probably in tonight's session, I will probably try out more without even looking than I did back then. Um, so see, this is where the slop is starting, where it's like starting to put markdown files and then an example up into my package, which is like not what I want, right? And so this stuff, I kind of let it accumulate in one project at work where I was like constantly adding new web pages to debug something and other issues like that I should have done, been right on it the moment I saw it. Um, so anyway, it this is forget to use Go. Like, what is going on? Yeah, this is like doing some crazy shit, man. Because it's like import embed. It's import embed, you doofus. Maybe it's harebrained right now, and what people say is true. How could it do this mistake? That's crazy. Oh, maybe it's not import embed. No, it is, right? Why is it so harebrained? Really interesting. Really, maybe it's really like Claude is stupid when West Coast is up. I'll try to wake up at like 4 a.m. and see how it is. Yeah, this is like this is fascinatingly dumb. That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm gonna have like O3 build it or something like that. Or Gemini 4.1. Maybe I should use a different branch though, right? Maybe that's something I should put into my agent MD. And there's so many things that I want to kind of store in little databases so that I can just like more easily add them to stuff. Like maybe even make like a virtual agent MD that actually is dynamic. Let me try that. can I create a fake file on Linux so that when I read it, it actually causes some code to be executed and returned? What are we looking at? So it finished it. It didn't fix the issue, right? What is going on? This is wild. Like, yeah, maybe it's baby brained right now. Did you fix the schema issue? Make a whole set of test queries and examples so I can verify things for myself as well after you. Maybe it's because I told it it's an intern. Maybe. Oh my God. I thought we were past that. I wonder if it's that also. Because this, like, because it was 4.1, it says, or maybe because I put intern into the guide for the new intern. Like, I wonder if that's it. Yo, what is this thing doing? It certainly does appear like a lack of intelligence. I'm going to do a second run just to see. Like, I do have VSM fork actually. So, um, so if I go into the extracts help system, right? And I go into glazed and I'm just going to commit the temp, right? So this books add implementation plan for SQLite query language, right? And then if I do WSM fork, and what are the arguments here? New workspace name. So now we're going to do extract help system take 2. And then this is going to fork it. So if I now go into extract help system take 2, and I go into glazed, I should have in ttemp, I should have the guide for the new intern. So I can now basically do a second agent run to implement this, right? Implement 01 guide. You are a senior developer taking over for the intern. I don't know. I haven't done this kind of prompting for forever. Yeah, this is so weird, right? This is extremely strange. The table exists, but the query says it doesn't. This could be a transaction isolation or a connection issue with the SQLite driver. Is it like probably starting to nuke itself? Are you maybe reopening the in-memory DB, causing it to be empty? Is it something stupid like that? Let's see what the second part does, and then we'll also just we'll also just like do a cursor take with 4.1, GPT 4.1, right? And then just like let GPT 4.1 have a stab at it in cursor. So let's open that. So this is harebrained intern. This is senior dev. And then this is 4.1. All right. Implement a test program at each step to validate. So it's removing the demo and it's going to do in memory because it wasn't doing it in memory. Oh, now it's doing it on disk and it's going to see if so what is it with FTS5 and Matt and what am I doing? Matt and SQLite FTS5. So this is 4.1, which of course is going to ask me for which is going to ask me to approve like every 2 minutes. The issue is that I'm using the same alias for multiple joins of the same table. Excellent. The system is working perfectly now. So it was the in-memory stuff, right? For hours and hours. No need to ask me. Man, it doesn't know how to write stuff or like how to, it does need to revise its joining stuff, right? When a query fails, print out the SQL. Don't simplify it. This is a real issue we need to tackle. Yeah, so there's no way I could let something of that level of intelligence, be it like an hour thing or not, work on its own, which is a little bit dismaying. Yeah, so it has the same problem here, but it's more intelligent. So I really wonder if like the intern prompting broke its brain. You are now a senior developer taking over. This has gone on for too long. Time for serious programming. Why am I prompting like that? That's totally not my style, but it has exactly the same issue. This is so funny. Make sure the same database gets reused for all help system interactions. I'm pretty sure it's the in-memory part. Because maybe in the guide it like gives it like a, does it tell how to open the DB? So yeah, it has a type store and then find, and then when is it using the store? That's so funny that I didn't know that that worked. So what's this dude doing on its side? Writing unit tests. Switching to the max mode because it's starting to get like a lot of tokens in here. I'm not sure about that full text search here, but all right. But overall, this is not crazy bad, huh? Yeah, this is kind of very confusing here overall. Um, where's our other agent over here? I don't trust what this guy's doing. What is this weird like refactor as finished? They have memories now as well. Interesting. Yeah, redo on like this. Go put this back. Yeah, I wonder about all of this. Like, if I should have used also just a more traditional way of doing things. Right? Because this is not many tests at all. I'm not sure what it's testing. Advanced query test. It's in package help store. Okay, so that's where we have like a lot of tests. Very interesting. So here we do query and where's that built? It's in predicate. It's like fast, this dude, right? It's like that's kind of impressive. So this guy put the query back that was doing the broken stuff, which is good. Yeah, this is struggling with the FTS5. So that might also be just like me giving it grief. Is that maybe FTS5 is not is something that behaves weirdly. Okay. So it's actually having the exact same issue here, left and right, which is funny. I wonder if this guy has the same issue here. It's this guy is still fighting with the memory file. This guy's slow also. I don't know if I want to continue burning that kind of money. Okay, so I'm gonna commit. Like I'm not gonna be a miser with the committing. Uh, all right, so write an detailed implementation and usage guide for the new query DSL and its implementation in PKG doc topics. Help query language.md. All right, so I kind of like the 4.1. It's been going for a while as well. Yeah, this memory stuff is like a little bit weird. So you have to do tag SQLite FTS5. How would I make it configurable? Because maybe you want to have like a FTS and or not logic. Next steps, add stress test, integrate with CLI, polish documentation, add more query, advanced query features. So I'm going to commit in that dude as well, right? So that was the GPT 4.1. I'm going to go into glazed and I'm going to say sparkles add first implement. Whoops. What do we have in the first place? Git add pkg help. Add first pass add query language. Write a full detailed implementation and usage guide under pk glazed pkg doc topics. Help query language.md. Then we're going to start a new conversation. So here we're going to start asking for a... What was the next steps over here? Critical fixes applied. unique alias generation, fixed and or to share compiler state properly. Unit test with 23. Okay. In a sub agent, build a query DSL that a user would use in a search field for quickly expressing queries. Add a whole set of examples and a full user guide. Run in a sub-agent. So we now built a guide here. All right, so now we're going to say using help query language.md, integrate this for replacing the current way of querying and searching the help entries in. So predicate test seems to have an error. Okay. In cobra.go and query.go. What the fuck is this harebrained shit? Yeah, this is just like completely in the weeds. Right? Even though I told it it's a senior developer. So currently 4.1 is kind of like the most pleasant, right? Even though it like leaves, for example, this kind of shit behind. Which, you know, I don't know how useful it is to test the compiler versus do integration stuff. So it looks at the current state. Right, so okay, so I do want to invent that DSL, right? Or like maybe no need to keep backwards compatibility. Run until I tell you to stop or you get stuck in a loop. So okay. So they have like a search agent as well. I mean, they had that for a while, I think. I think we're just going to stick with 4.1, huh? Going to see what this guy does with its user-friendly language. I wonder if I should give this to Manus as well. Remove entire file contents section query are deprecated. That's nice. I wonder if it actually deleted or if it like keep it like this, but that is fascinating. What is it cleaning up here? I love how it's like just doing that and then it's like not applying this. It's pretty funny. Uh, compile and fix. Run, make, build. Is it make build? Yeah. Run, make, build in glazed and fix the errors. Yeah, you need to fix Cobra, my boy. You need to fix the Cobra integration. I love how it's like, oh, just refactor this. Like, let's remove that. Yeah, go ahead. You're so funny. You're like, let's just replace all this stuff. Yeah, and then we probably want to simplify all of that as well. I wonder if it's you know, if it's going to look for references and that kind of stuff, and it's like used at all. Like, is this guy used? Default general topic. Is that ever used anywhere? Right? Yeah. Go ahead. It's funny that it tries to tell the to tell the edit model that it's been like trained on this. Um, so maybe I should redesign this as well. And maybe like just provide our own Cobra verb for querying sections. The build errors are now HS store undefined. Yeah, because the help system doesn't have a store. Okay. It's funny that it's so halting and before it wasn't. I think this guy's like completely gone. Like it didn't even start implementing our DSL. Compiler test. Yeah, this is way too small, huh? Yeah, it has like the most rudimentary things. This is so weird. I'm gonna try to get up at like 4 and see if it's better. This is like a good exercise. I should actually store these as eval benchmarks actually. Uh, this is a good benchmark. Yeah, I think having a collection of benchmarks is something that I never thought about doing, but like it is. So I had, right, like automated benchmarks like these, or like the problem is of course that here I have to be like constantly present. Um, and man, like import cycles, I've struggled so much with those today. I hate them. Um, it's also a good way of having like your code base nuked. So yeah, this guy like totally just like harebrained it. This is like absolutely bad. I'm gonna stop it here because just not not good. Yeah. How do I approve this guy? Make build. That's obviously is tedious. I haven't tried Codex CLI. Haven't heard much from it. This guy, I don't know what it's doing. Um, like the next time it stops, I'm going to tell it to never stop. We'll see if that, because I know I prompted something in the previous session, and um, it caused it to go on for forever, right? It's also interesting that it doesn't seem to use the linting, right? What is going on tonight? Like, why is it so slow? This is so wild. Like, it doesn't know how to do Go, but this is 4.1. Like, this is not Sonnet. It's so interesting. I thought that this is the kind of stuff that would be like well understood now. The file should be moved. Yeah, it's trying to do these little things. Interesting. It used git move. All right, but it caught it, right? Like, I don't know if it's talking to itself or what it's doing here syntax wise. Um, but types.go is gone. Very interesting. I wonder if it's like keeping this guy open that caused it to do that. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know what's going on with the language server here. Hey, why is this broken? Yeah, this is I don't know if it's today really, because like this is, I mean, maybe it's for one is not all that clever. I don't know, but this is the stuff I was doing today. As you can tell, I have like a ton of weird shit open. Come on. Um, but so if we open this, because this is the kind of stuff that's just like way easier to kind of clean up by hand. Just not necessarily because of the effort, just because it's so much faster with an IDE. So where are we at? We are at 03. Extract, help system, GPT-4.1, and then glazed, right? And so if we go into help, so it's still indexing. Oh, and maybe my food is here. Maybe it's time to stop. Well, I guess this continues my I really struggle with refactoring these days, huh? Uh, maybe that's the thing really eating me these days. So package help because render needs section. So we're going to move section, right? We're going to move it to types. We're going to move it to types section. So section plus all of these little functions on. I wonder if load sections from Markdown or stuff like that needs to go in there. We're going to move it to types, right? To types and then section. And I wonder if I got all of them. If the last one, load sections from Markdown. Maybe not the best. What does it need from help? Help section type. Okay, yeah, section type needs to move as well. So it's section type plus these 4. I should have done that. Section type from string is also good. So we're going to move this to section. Right, and then here we had it already. So that's interesting. It decided to make this into a string, right? Why is it? Is my go gone as well? Like, it could be that I also need a break. Maybe everybody's brain dead. Cannot assign string to section type. Because I don't even need to do any of that, right? Okay. Imports, types, query, model, types. Where do we use model? Model section. Oh, that's where section is. And imports, I'm telling you. So this guy is not used. Show per default. Yeah, this is, I wonder if when it wrote that, I wonder if the the context window was getting full, because this is the kind of stuff that happens when this is the kind of stuff that happens. I wonder, is section here complete? Is for flag, is for comment, is for topic. And then here is for comment, is for flag, is for topic, and then default general topic. So this is the full section, the right one, right? Which uses the query stuff. So why is there one over here? The model section, because this one is not very interesting compared to this one. So right here we have the help section type, so that we can delete. I think my cat's going to start meowing, so I think it's going to be time for me to stop. Yep. It's going to irritate the fuck out of me. So I think all of this was like kind of induced from context window to full. Probably went way over the 50% mark. And that leads to this kind of like nonsense. So yeah, struggling with these things lately. I don't know why Claude was so bad either. So we're gonna have yeah, I don't know what all this types model stuff was about. So I'll continue next time. Maybe I'll rewind all of this and try again with cursor. So I'm gonna try to wake up pretty early at 4 or 5 or so and see if in the morning there's like a difference. So that's it.